Nambi questioned him, I have a doubt nagging in my mind for long. Can you give a fitting reply to it? Please come up with your doubt. If I have a reply, I would. Nambi asked Ramanuja, I incarnate a lot. I try my best to mend the ways of these samsaris. They don't change at all. Nobody is transformed, including my very loving disciple Arjuna. Although I preached, morning we had talked about 700 verses. But the truth is, all 700 was taken by Arjuna, but nothing was implemented. Arjuna received, but implementation was by later acharyas, not by Arjuna. Now Nambi was curious. When I am unable to achieve something, I am unable to bring about order, Ramanuja, when you incarnate, how are you able to bring about this order? You are able to correct many. You bring Sharanagatas. You send people to Vaikuntha. How is it possible by you when I fail? You are able to succeed? Ramanuja said, yes, I have an answer. But since you are a disciple, you are the one who needs an answer. I am the Acharya who had to give an answer. But you stand for 15 feet. I stand here for 6 feet. You are there and I am here. Let us change the posture. Give me the proper Acharya asana. Make me seated. You will have to stand by the side of me and prostrate to me. Ask the question, I will give you a reply. Yes, Bhagavan offered the asanam. You can have darshan of that asanam even today inside the Garbhagraham. If you request the Archaka, he will show you the asanam. That asanam is there for 1,000 years. Upper Ramanuja was seated. Now Velukkudi Nambi with folded hands requested Ramanuja, can you reveal the secret? How is that you are successful? Mannishay yonigal thorum pirandu, Yengal Madhavane Kandura Nirkilam, Kanagilla Varahokalella, Annali Ramanujan Vandutoni Apurde, Nandarinyanan Talakondu Naranakainare, Mannishay yonigal thorum pirandu. Bhagavan incarnates in all possible births. As a cowherd boy, as an Ikshwak Vamsha, as a fish, as a tortoise, as what? As a big boar, as the lion, man, lion farm. He tries all possible combinations from it. Mannishay yonigal thorum pirandu, Yengal Madhavane Kandura Nirkilam Kana illa. Although Bhagavan is very much before us, we don't notice him at all. Madhavane Kana illa, Ulahor Kadalla. But the moment Ramanuja placed his holy feet in this world, it was then Nandarinyanan Talaikondu Naranarkayinare. People all became aware of the supremacy of Narayana, all came and surrendered in a big block. They all came, surrendered to Ranganatha, they reached moksha. How was this possible? Ramanuja revealed the secret. Oh, Velukkudi Nambi, nothing great. It's a very simple logic. The logic is, when you incarnate, you boast yourself as Paramatma, Paramatma, Paramatma. Nobody will listen to you. If I suddenly come and stand before you and say, I am God, fall to my feet now. Nobody will do. But when Ramanuja incarnates, he doesn't say, I am God. Instead, he is God. Can you go and surrender to him? He is the supreme and there is no match to him. He is the unparalleled. He is the abode of all auspicious qualities. Go to him. He is the creator. Then this works. If I claim to be a God for myself, that doesn't work. And if you say that he is God, that works. Ramanuja's plot, Ramanuja's plan worked. He was able to prove to the world that Ranganatha is God. But Ranganatha himself was not able to prove. Now, Krishna was inquisitive. Velukkudi Nambi questioned Ramanuja. So, what is your solution? When I incarnate, how can I show someone else as Paramatma? It is true that I am Paramatma. No, swamy, I am not telling you to show someone else as Paramatma. I know that for truth, you are Paramatma. But I am only telling you that you can't say so. You are Paramatma. But you can't say that you are Paramatma. I have to say. The secret here is, if you claim, it will be a self-proclaimed leader. So there is no one Swami to claim him. He is self-proclaimed. Adan Krishna, Paramatma, Nanda, Uttama, Purusha, Stanya, Paramatme, Judadritaha, Dvamivam, Purusha, Loke, Sharaha, Akshara Yevacha, Kshara Sarvani, Bhutani, Kutasta, Akshara Uchyate, Atosmi, Loke, Vede, Chaprititaha, Purushottamaha. My revered father used to tell me, he had nobody to listen, nobody to support him. He stands on the rooftop and shouts that, Aham Paramatma, Paramatma, Paramatma. Who is there to listen to him? Yarume in a battlefield, they were ready there with weapons in hand to kill each other. And he talks that, Nainan Chintanti Shastrani, Nainan Dahadi Bhavakaha, Nachainan Kledayan Tyabaha, Na Shoshayati Marutaha. He was a great orator. Krishna was a great upanyasaka, but without listeners. என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க? அவருக்கே ஆள் இல்லைன்னா நமக்கெல்லாம் என்ன சொல்ல முடியும் சொல்லுங்க. ஆனா all the Alvars and Acharyas had listeners, not Bhagavan. So Emperuman thought, for once I have committed a mistake by preaching Gita. I will not commit that mistake at all. The next moment, the next opportunity was when Dharmaputra wanted to clear his doubts. He came to Krishna, but Krishna guides Dharmaputra to Bhishmacharya. Hey Dharmaputra, don't come to me. The first day of the war was Gita Upadeshan. After the 10th day, Bhishmacharya fell. He was in his bed of arrows. When Dharmaputra approaches Krishna, Krishna guides him to Bhishma and says, Bhishme lokantarangate jnanani alpi bhavishyanti. Oh Yudhishthira, don't come to me. Go to Bhishmacharya. Yudhishthira was inquisitive. Why? When you are here alive, why should I go to him? He said, I have been miserably failing time and again. I am not going to repeat at all. Let others talk about me. Let me listen to them. So after, when Bhishmacharya talks about Vishnu Sahasranama, Krishna happily listened. And he decided listening is much better than talking. Mudi Pandarko. Appadina, you are all the blessed ones, not the Upanyasakas. Talking is difficult, but listening, you are quite happy. At least we are alone, we are scared to be alone. You are all together with people. அதனால உங்களுக்கு கஷ்டமே இல்லையோ எங்கே யாருன்னா பெரிய மேடை போடுவா. We are all left alone in the dais. We are alone. என்ன ஆகும் எதாகும்? When we look, all 1,000, 2,000 people will be sitting. All we will only see heads and heads. All heads, 2 eyes looking scaringly on the same person. எல்லாம் சொன்னீங்க கஷ்டமா இருக்கு சொன்ன சார் அப்படி நீங்க சிரிக்கலாம் பாருங்க, நாங்கள் சிரிக்க முடியுமா? எல்லாத்த விட வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், யூ கேன் ஈவன் ஸ்லீப் வென் யூ வாண்ட் டு, பட் உபன்யாசகா cannot. எப்படி பண்ண முடியும்? You can. If there is a 2-hour lecture, you can listen to for 1.5 hours and take as comfortable as you feel. You can go ahead with Brahmanubhavam and a little sleep. But can the Upanyasaka do? So Thirumaludin Cholamalai Kalladaga. Then finally Tirukkurungudi Nambi revealed the greatness of Swami Ramanuja. It is he who will have to establish the supremacy of Bhagavan even. மண்ணிசை யோனிகள் தோறும் பிறந்து எங்கள் மாதவனே கண்ணுதா நிற்கிறோம் காணகில்லா உலகோர்கள் எல்லாம் அண்ணதி ராமானுஜன் வந்து தோன்றிய அப்பொழுதே நன்னொரு ஞானம் தலை கொண்டு நாரணர் காயினரே. ஸ்ரீ ரங்கநாதா, திருவேங்கடமுடையான், காஞ்சி தேவப்பெருமாள், திருநாராயணபுரம் செல்லப்பிள்ளை, திருமாலிருஞ்சோலமலை கள்ளழகர், திருக்குறுங்குடி நம்பி. 7 deities have revealed the importance, the glories of Swami Ramanuja. So he was not hailed only by his disciples, but by God himself. That is the point here. So Ramanuja Vaibhavam is not just doesn't stop with his disciples. Let me also tell you about Swami Nammalvar, the foremost Prapanna Jana Kutastha. Nammalvar lived 4,000 years before Swami Ramanuja, not 100 or 200. Nammalvar was born in the early years of Kali Yuga. It is today 5,118 years since the birth of Kali Yuga. We are in the 5,118th year. Nammalvar was born in the first year of Kali Yuga. Ramanuja was born 1,000 years before from today. So the time difference between Nammalvar and Ramanuja would be 4,000 years. But Ramanuja is called as Maran Adipanindu Vindavar. Maran Swami Nammalvar. Adipanindu. Ramanuja is one who sought for solace, who sought refuge in the lotus feet of Swami Nammalvar. Poomannu Madu, Porundiya Marvan, Pugalmarinda Pamannu Maran Adipanindu Vindavan. Maran Nammalvar. Maran Adipanindu Vindavan. Swami Ramanuja. Nammalvar was about to depart to this material world. Alvar had one great disciple, Madhuragavi Alvar. Avidita Vishayantara Shakale Upanishadam Upagana Matra Bhoga Apichagunavashatu Tadeka Sheshi Madhuragavi Hirdaye Mama Virastu Veronnum Nanariyen Vedam Tamisheda Maran Chadagopan Vanguru Erangal Valvaman Netum Madhuragaviyar Yamai Alvar Avare Aran. Let us all seek solace. Let us seek refuge in the lotus feet of Madhuragavi Alvar, who was the only disciple and the unparalleled disciple of Nammalvar. Nammalvar sung 4 important poems. 1. Thiruvirutham, Thiruvachiriyam, Periya Thiruvandagi, Thiruvaizmozhi. After singing, he completed his life, a short life, 32 years of sweet and short life. He was about to depart. Madhuragavi Alvar could not bear separation from Nammalvar. So he preached to Nammalvar, can you bless me or take me along with you? As Rama took all the inmates, all the residents of Ayodhya along with him, can you take me along with you? Nammalvar would not take anyone. He says, I can give you an alternate solution. Collect water from Tamrabarni river, the holy river of Tamrabarni. Boil the water. Yes, Madhuragavi Alvar boiled the water. To his surprise, he found a beautiful deity form coming out of it. A beautiful deity form was created out of that water. But he thought that deity form would be of Swami Nammalvar. It is customary that whenever an Acharya departs, he blesses his own form. And that form is kept under good custody, and people do aradhana, they do puja for that form, and they somehow console themselves from separation. This is what the practice is. So Madhuragavi Alvar was expecting Nammalvar's idol, but it was not the deity of Nammalvar. Instead, it was an unknown deity. Madhuragavi Alvar was surprised. He questions Nammalvar, who is this personality? Who is this great person? Alvar said, Tam Karisunum Sandarishayamasa Tam Karisunum Bhavishyad Acharya Varaswarupam. Nammalvar said, he is the future Acharya. Bhavishyad Acharya. Bhavishyad, future. Acharya, the preceptor. He is going to be the preceptor for the future. Who is this? What is going to be his name? How do we preserve this deity form? Today, the deity form is consecrated in Alvar Tirunagari itself. Alvar Tirunagari is the birthplace of Swami Nammalvar. Undo Vaikashi Vishahattu Koppodunal, Undo Shadagobar Kopporuva, Undo Thiruvaimozhi Koppu, then Guru Hekkundo, Guru Pardhani Okumur, Swami Manavada Mamarikal in his Upadesha Ratnamalai talks about the glory of Nammalvar, Thiruvaimozhi, his birth star Vaikashi Vishakam, and his birthplace Alvar Tirunagari. Nothing is parallel to Alvar Tirunagari. Nothing can match the glory of Thiruvaimozhi. Nothing can be equal to the star Vaikashi Visakam, and no one is equal to Swami Nammalvar. Undo Vaikashi Vishahattu Koppodunal, Undo Shadagobar Kopporuvar, Undo Thiruvaimozhi Koppu. Is there anything equal to Thiruvaimozhi? Then Guru Hekkundo, Guru Pardhani Okumur. There can't be a place as holy as Alvar Tirunagari. So, Nammalvar names this Vigraham as Bhavishyadacharya Vigraham, and that Vigraham was brought down in the lineage of Madhuragavi Alvar to his disciple, from there to Nathamunigal, to Uyyakondar, to Manakkal Nambigal, to Alavandar, to Periya Nambigal, and lived through the years as a contemporary of the living Ramanuja. This was deity Ramanuja. Bhavishyadacharya Vigraham lived through the age of Ramanuja. We have it with us today too. So it has lived from Nammalvar's period to our period, which would mean Nammalvar revealed Ramanuja as the future Acharya. So the before, 4,000 years ago, Nammalvar had revealed by this great deity form. Alvar also points out, he points that here is going to be a great Acharya in the future. And that was in one passaram in Thiruvaimozhi itself. Poliha, Poliha, Poliha. Kaliyankadun Kandugolmin Kadal Podam Kadal Vanna Pudangal Manmel Maria Pundishavadi Adi Uditara Kandom 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 Kandikiniana Kandom Tondirellirum Varir Todudar Nartham. Nammalvar talks the glory of a future Acharya. Poliga, Poliga, Poliga. When the Acharya incarnates, this Kali's problems will be solved. Poyittu Valliyur Chavam, Naliyum Narakamam Nainda. Naraka will not be in its place. Narakam would be transformed to be Swargam. Kaliyam Kedam. The problems of Kali would be solved. Kali would be driven away from this world. When will all this happen? When an Acharya incarnates. So, Kvachit Nivar Avirbhavam, Kaliyam Kedam Pole Suchitam. Nammalvar himself had talked about the future Acharya Swami Ramanuja. What more do you want? So, all the Bhagavans reveal. Nammalvar himself talks about Swami Ramanuja. Not only talking, he blesses Madhuragavi Alvar with the Vigraham. Swami, then how is Nammalvar's Vigraham today? When did that come into existence? Since Madhuragavi Alvar was not satisfied with another personality, he was wanting to have Nammalvar Vigraham. Nammalvar orders him to go and boil Tamarabarni water once again. Madhuragavigal collected water. He boiled the water of Tamarabarni river, and then came up the Murti, the deity of Swami Nammalvar, which is what is consecrated today in Alvarthanagari. So in Alvarthanagari, you can have darshan of two deities. One Nammalvar, which was born later. The one Ramanuja, which was born before Nammalvar's deity. See the irony there. Nammalvar was born 4000 years ago, Ramanuja, and then Ramanuja after 4000 years. But the deities of Ramanuja, Nammalvar, they interchanged. Ramanuja deity was born first, then followed by Nammalvar deity. So you can say that Alvar himself incarnated as Swami Ramanuja. Nothing wrong in mentioning so. So Nammalvar talked about the glory of Ramanuja. Then Nathamunigal, Nammalvar bestowed the wealth of 4000 Divya Pradhamdan to Nathamunigal. Nathamunigal was born in 823. He had by the lineage, he had the Bhavishadacharya Vigraham too. Nathamunigal got 4000 Divya Pravandam. He had made a beautiful statement. He says, if water collects in a big reservoir, thousands and millions of people would be benefited. But if water collects in a little pot, then probably few cuckoo birds or parrot birds may be benefited. Similarly, water is Bhagavan's compassion. If Bhagavan's compassion rests in Acharya like us, then a few disciples would be benefited. But if it rests in an Acharya like Ramanuja, it is water in a reservoir where millions would stand benefited. So Nathamuni says, Pudappadiile neer tenginal kurvi gudittu pom, Veeranatheriyile neer tenginal ulagame vaazhuttu pom. If this whole entire universe has to live, has to survive, has to be nurtured, Anaithulagum Vazhappiranga Edirasha Mamuniva, Yedai Kirangayini, Vadi Edirashan, Vadi Edirashan, Vadi Edirashan and a Valtuvar, Vadi and a Valtuvar, Vadi and a Valtuvar, Tadinagil Taltuvar, Vinnor Thalai. So Nathamuni himself reveals the greatness of Swami Ramanuja. Then on Nathamuni, Uyyakondar, Manakkal Nabigal, Adavandar. It was Adavandar who spotted, who picked, who chose Swami Ramanuja to become the next head of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Ramanuja was undergoing, he was studying under Yadava Prakasha at Kanchi. Adavandar visits. Tirukachinabigal was a very ardent disciple of Adavandar. Guided by Tirukachinabigal, Adavandar had darshan of Teva Perumal, then reached down, climbed down the hills. The hill is Hastigiri. Hastigiri, the hills, Adavandar came down. A Sannadhi by name Kariyamanikka Perumal Sannadhi. The Perumal Sannadhi is Kariyamanikka Perumal Sannadhi. Adavandar, guided by Tirukachinabigal, came by the way of Kariyamanikka Perumal Sannadhi, saw a group of people having darshan. That group was led by Yadava Prakasha, and his intuition told him that somewhere Ramanuja must be in this group. They had no parichayam earlier. They were not introduced earlier. He was not called Ramanuja even. He was only called as Idayalvar. His initial name was Idayalvar. So Adavandar asks Tirukachinambigal, can you show me who Idayalvar is in this group? Tirukachinambigal showed, here is that great handsome personality with a big tuft and a beautiful Karunai Podindidu Kamalak Kannadagam, with a lot of compassion in his eyes, with broad shoulders, with thin waist, and with the promise, the resolution to complete this, the resolution to mend the ways of people. And he is Idayalvar. When Adavandar looked at Idayalvar, he pleased to Kanchi Devaraja and blesses with his cool glances, Amudalvan Ivanannu Tattetti. He would be the first and foremost hereafter. Amudalvan, Mudalvanam. From hereafter he would be the Mudalvan. From then on, Ramanuja did not stop. He went ahead to become the Jagadacharya. He was acclaimed. He had 700 sannyasi disciples. He had 12,000 Grihastha disciples. He had countless women as disciples. Anaithulagam Vazhappiranga Edirasha Mamunivar was spotted by Adavandar himself. Next, Periyanambigal. Periyanambigal was the direct Acharya of Swami Ramanuja. You will find this story was so great in the life and history of Swami Ramanuja. Ramanuja and Periyanambigal were living in Srirangam. Ramanuja was a sannyasi then. Adavandar had departed. Adavandar was also a sannyasi. The Acharya of Periyanambigal, Mahapurna, on a day, on a particular auspicious day, Periyanambigal was walking through the Vithi of Srirangam. He saw Ramanuja coming with his disciples. For a moment, he thought that this was Alavandar himself. He did not think this was his disciple Ramanuja. Instead, Ramanuja looked to him as glorious and brilliant as his Acharya Alavandar. So he stopped unknowingly, all people, to the shock of everyone. Suddenly, Periyanambigal prostrated. He fell on the feet of Ramanuja and said, Adiyen Dasan. Ramanuja did not respond. He neither accepted the prostration nor reciprocated with the prostration. He did not do. He left. The disciples were shocked. Oh, Periyanambi, why did you offer your salutations to Ramanuja? He is your disciple. Periyanambi said, for a moment I thought, as Ramanuja was the next qualified Acharya, I thought he was Alavandar himself. To me, he looked like Alavandar. Yes, he is Alavandar. So Periyanambigal himself called Ramanuja as the next well-equipped Ramanuja, Acharya, Alavandar. This was also a revelation. Then next, we have to conclude now. We don't have much time left. I have talked about Periyanambigal, Alavandar, then Tirukkotiyu Nambigal and Tirumalayandan. Together they revealed the secret behind the incarnation of Swami Ramanuja. Tirukkotiyu Nambigal was at Tirukkotiyu, a place about 60-70 kilometers from Srirangam. He had to bless Ramanuja with a mantra, with Tirumantram and Charamashlokam. That was the treasure left to him to be handed over to Ramanuja by Alavandar. Tirukkotiyu Nambigal, Periya Tirumala Nambigal, Tirumalai and Periya Nambigal, Alvar Tiruvaranga Perumalarayar, Tirumalayandan, all five were the disciples of Alavandar and the Acharyas of Swami Ramanuja. Panchacharya Padashritaha. Pancha Acharya Pada Ashrita is Ramanuja. We are going to talk about Tirukkotiyu Nambigal. Ramanuja walked again and again to Tirukkotiyu, requesting Tirukkotiyu Nambigal to bless him with Tirumantram and Charamashlokam. Not once or twice. He tried for 17 times, but Tirukkotiyu Nambigal did not worry. He was unconcerned. He was so indifferent. He sent back Ramanuja 17 times. Finally, he took pity on Ramanuja and preached the mantram, Tirumantram and Charamashlokam. But be very careful. As I have put you to a very hard test, you must also put your disciples through a strenuous process. It must be a good entrance process. Entrance exam, unda, kadayada, it must be a very strenuous entrance exam. Without that, you cannot share this great wealth. Mantram yattanena gopayet. Thus told by Tirukkotiyu Nambigal. Ramanuja nodded his head. Yes, if you made me walk for 18 times, I will ensure 36 times. Cholita. But nothing happened. When Tirukkotiyu Nambigal left to his Tirumaligai, Ramanuja climbed, went near the Attanga Vimanam, prostrated to Narakanashan Tirukkotiyu Perumal, called for the Antaranga people who were close by, called for them and shared with the great wealth of Tirumantram and Charamashlokam. Tirukkotiyu Nambigal came to know of the news. He was shocked. I had told you not to reveal this to anyone. How dare you do? He came rushing, questioned Ramanuja. Do you know that you will only go to Narakam for violating the order of your Acharya? Ramanuja said, of course I know. I will only go to Rauravadi Narakam. But if me alone has to sacrifice going to Narakam, and for that sacrifice, so many people will reach Vaikuntham, I would happily agree to go to Narakam. Adu sonnavudane, he immediately hugged, he embraced Swami Ramanuja and named him Yam Perumanar. We all know of Bhagavan as Emperuman. From today, you will be Emperumanar, the one who surpassed an Acharya, the disciple who went past an Acharya and established Ashayudayorkellam Aryarkal Purum. Before Ramanuja, the Acharyas were Anuvritti Prasannacharya. You will have to do a lot to please them. It's strenuous. Whereas from Ramanuja, he changed the system. He made all us Kripamatra Prasannacharya. It is easy to please them, and their only cause for gracing is their kripa, is their compassion. They never put us to difficult tests. Instead, it is kripa. Swami, this person has written driving test for 10 times. At least for that sake, let me give. If it is 4th or 5th time, then please don't appear. அதுதான் சொல்லுவாங்க இப்போ. அப்படி இல்லை சுவாமி. Even for the first time, let me grace you, let me take pity on you. So Tirukkotiyu Nambigal named Ramanuja as Emperumanar. Again he revealed the greatness of Ramanuja. One last hagiology. Tirumalayandan was preaching Tiruvayamozhi to Swami Ramanuja. A Pasharam came by. Ramanuja had a new interpretation. All the interpretations by Tirumalayandan was what he has heard from Alavandar. Alavandar had taught them Tiruvayamozhi. Now they share whatever they have listened to Alavandar with Ramanuja. But in Hariya Kalathulle Adimakkan Anbu Seivittu Hariyamaamayatadiyena Vaittayal Nilam Mavadi Muvadi Hariya Kalathulle. The interpretation was Tirumalayandan was not very interesting. So Ramanuja looked disappointed. So he did not look up. In fact, his head was hung down. அப்படி இருந்ததுனாலே கொஞ்சம் கேட்கறது சுமார்னு அர்த்தம். நீங்களாம் நல்லா சிரிச்சுலாம் கேட்டீங்கன்னா சரி சொல்றவர் ஒழுங்கா சொல்றாரு. அப்படி இல்லை கொஞ்சம் இப்படி பார்ப்பேன்னா சரி சரியில்லை டைமை பார்த்தாலே போச்சுன்னு அர்த்தம். அப்படின்னாலே சிவா ஒருத்தருக்கு பிடிக்கவே போகணும் இப்போ. ஸோ ராமானுஜா வாஸ் நாட் வெரி ஹாப்பி வித் தட் இன்டர்பிரிட்டேஷன். Tirumalayandan questions him, do you have any better interpretation? Yes, Ramanuja said. But somehow that was not to the liking of Tirumalayandan. He was in fact irritated. After he was irritated, he closed the book. He said, since you are talking, you are violating Alavanda's interpretations. I would not continue with Kalakshepam anymore. So he closed the text. Knowing this, Tirukotiyur Nambigal visited Sri Lanka and asked Tirumalayandan, we have been told by our Acharya to share this wealth of Tiruvayamozhi and Rahasyam with Ramanuja. Why did you stop? But Tirumalayandan replied, I didn't want to stop, but the problem is he talks too much. He talks too much and this is not the interpretation that we have listened from our Acharya. Tirukotiyur Nambigal said, probably you did not attend the discourse on that day. I have listened to this interpretation from Alavandar. Please note that whatever Ramanuja says, it would have been in the mind of Alavandar. Probably he would not have shared it with us. Certainly he would have shared it mentally through to Ramanuja. Will that happen? Tirumalayandan asked, will that happen? We are the direct disciples. You think that you are the disciple of Alavandar and Acharya of Ramanuja. Can I tell you how this looks like? It is like Dasharatha really believing that he is the father of Rama. It is like Vasudeva really thinking that he is the father of, like Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. Will it happen? It was Krishna who chose Vasudeva to be his father. It was Rama who chose Dasharatha to be his father. And similarly, it is Ramanuja who had chosen we too to be his Acharya. Not that we are teaching something unknown to him. We don't do Ajñata Jñapanam. It is not known to him and we don't teach him afresh. He knows everything. We are only brushing up. For the sake of maintaining the decorum of Acharya-Shishya relationship, we are made an Acharya to Ramanuja. Even without us, Ramanuja would know all as he has been directly blessed by Swami Ramanuja. Kumara Nadibadin doing the work. Thus, all the Acharyas before Ramanuja, Bhagavans before Ramanuja have revealed the glory Punyam Bhoja Vikasaya, Papadvanta Kshayaya Cha, Shiman Abhirabhut Bhumo, Ramanuja Divakaraha, Shiman Mahabhutapure, Shimat Keshava Yajjanaha, Kantimatyam Prasutaya, Yatirajaya Mangalam. It is our bound and duty to reach the lotus feet of Ramanuja, reach the 74 Simhasanadipatis, the great effective system established by Ramanuja, get Pancha Samskaram done, and through him, with the recommendation of Ramanuja, to reach Sri Vaikuntha. This is the method established. If someone of you have not had it till now, I suggest, I recommend that you approach an Acharya. Without an Acharya, mantrams cannot be got. You cannot be initiated with a mantram. Without a mantram, you can't reach God. Mantra, God resides in the mantram. Without mantram, mantram is Tirumandiram Kulandarum, Shelvandandidum, Adiyar Padutuyar Ayanavellan, Verandarum Chayam, Nilvishimbarudum, Arulodu Vinadilamalikum, Bertatayinam Ayana Chayam, Nalandarum Sholan Ankanduhunde, Narayana Venum Namam. How do we get that mantram? Through one Acharya. So I request all of you to approach an Acharya if you are not done already. Get Pancha Samskaram done. Be blessed with Swami Ramanuja. With this recommendation, a little chick palm leaf. With a little recommendation, if you approach Tiruvenkadamudayan, we are sure of a birth in Sri Vaikuntha. With these words, let me conclude this lecture on the glories of Swami Ramanuja. Shangan Tirumahattu Chelva Tirumalal, Yengum Tiruvarul Petri Inburuval, Ramanujaruடைய திருவடிகளே சரணம். அடியேன் ராமானுஜ தாசன். ஸ்ரீமதே ராமானுஜாய நமஹ. உய்ய ஒரே வழி உடையவர் திருவடி. அனைத்துலகும் வாழப் பிறந்த எதிராச மாமுனிவார் ஏழைக்கிறங்காயினி. என்று சொல்லிக்கொண்டு அமைகிறேன்.